Chorley already on the field, and Keighley Cougars taking the field now. The teams for this afternoon: for Keighley, fullback is Keith Mumby, the three-quarters John Basilou, Phil Ball, Andy Hinchliffe and Wayne Race. Keith Dixon and Darren Appleby the halfbacks, with Greg Hiley, Paul Moses, Joe Grimmer, Steve Hall, Ian Gately and Martin Wood in the forwards. The subs for Keighley this afternoon: Carlton Farrell and Mark Brook Cowden. And for Chorley Borough, the fullback Richard Clayton, the three-quarters Lee Crooks, John Ellis, Mark Maskery and Mike Smith. Steve Ashcroft and Jeff Robinson the halfbacks, with Mark Edwards, Joe Walsh, Sean Whiteside, Carl Briscoe, John Carney, Mick McTeague in the forwards. Billy Price and Tony Hodgson the substitutes. And the officials for this afternoon: Mr Campbell's the referee from St Helens, and his touch judges Mr Turner and Mr Lowe. Quite aptly named ground here at Chorley, the ground known as Grundy Hill, and certainly hill is the operative word when we look at it. Face from our position in the stand, a tremendous drop from this touchline to the far touchline, and also a slope from right to left as we look at it. It looks as though Chorley in fact have won the toss. They've elected to play down the hill, and what a hill it seems to be, Darrell. And there's going to be a kicking game this afternoon and half, isn't there?
Certainly is, John. They've got a kick. Whoever's down the hill have got to be attacking. I don't think there'll be much play up opposite us. We're sat rather in the top half of the field. There's nothing in front of us. It'll all be down on the left-hand side. Certainly when Keighley get possession, they should, sit in this first half, try and kick the way out and keep Chorley back up the hill. But whether they can do it or not, it's another matter.
And Keith Dixon gets play underway then for Keighley, puts that ball down to the Chorley post. Chorley running out. And apart from the tactics on the field, there's quite a bit of competitiveness off the field. That's the first penalty there for Chorley, for Keighley being offside. But competitiveness, as we were saying, off the field, because the two coaches of the respective sides, Peter Rowe and Jimmy Taylor, both having taken National League amateur teams to the Championship, the best amateur club in the country. Peter Rowe doing it at Dudley Hill, and Jimmy Taylor doing it last season at Wigan St Patrick's. So quite a bit of experience and competitiveness off the field there on the coaching bench, but certainly on the field is where we're going to see it this afternoon, as Chorley play that ball. Dummy in there to try to bring a man on, but driven back some 5 metres into his own half. The man who created a certain amount of havoc last season, that's the loose forward Mick McTeague for Chorley. A ball put down there, knocked forward by Phil Ball. It's a knock on both ways, no advantage. So the scrum will go down on the halfway line. Keighley's head and feed. Darren Appleby playing at scrum half this afternoon in place of the injured Andy Ayres. He popped a shoulder at Dewsbury last week. Ball comes out to Keighley, brings on Keith Mumby, joining the line. Wealth of experience there in the Keighley full-back position. Play switched upfield to Appleby, onto Hall. And it's really, really going to be hard work playing up here. Wayne Race. Highly onto Gately. Gately gets the ball out there, but it's goes to ground. Andy Hinchliffe, I believe, the man who unable to hang on to that pass. So it's a scrum down then just outside the Chorley 20-metre area. In and out to Chorley, hooked up the hill. Not getting too far forward though before he was held up there. That's Darren Appleby stopping the forward as he comes down the hill, Whiteside. Big gap there as the hooker got through. Hooker Joe Walsh for Chorley, just short of the halfway line, but that's John Carney who was tackled. This is Whiteside getting into Keighley territory. Walsh acting half-back, moves the ball across there to his standoff, and that's a kick through by Hall. And Hall's going to win the... Well, he could have won the chase had he not assisted. Had he not assisted, in fact, the full-back. But, in fact, the referee has given, I believe, an offside there, Darrell. I don't know.
No, He's given the signal was that the fullback obstructed Steve Hall. He can only knock him out the way with his shoulder, and he didn't do. That's what he's given. That's what he indicated to give anyway.
Well, certainly my vision there was that Steve pushed the fullback out of the way, but there we go. That's Mr. Campbell's decision. And we're going to see John Basilou's attempt to convert the penalty into points. Game just 3.5 minutes old then, as John Basilou settles with that ball 21 metres from the chorley post and almost straight in front. And the reliable boot of Basilou puts the points on the board for Keighley. So that's points against the slope for Keighley, and I'm sure that every point that they can get in this first half up this hill will be very valuable indeed. Richard Clayton kicks off then over the far side. Keighley then some 15 metres from the halfway line, 30 from their own, because the gap between the 10 either side of the half and the 20 certainly doesn't add up to a further 10. So the field, by definition of the markings on it, is quite short. Nice kick there by Keith Dixon, but this is the full-back. He's going to put that ball back down in that number 9 hole. Ball's going to go dead, is it? Keith Mumby just waiting there for that ball to go dead. Holds his hand up to the referee to indicate, in fact, that that's what it has done. And Mr. Campbell takes play now back to the 20-metre line. This is Joe Grimmer for Keighley. Just getting a steady 10 metres forward before being tackled. Moses at acting half-back brings on Hall. Hall's being tackled low there. Pushed over the back of the Chorley number 11 down the hill as Greg Keighley this time, 10 metres from the halfway line. Ball going back again for the kick. Oh, and a knock on there. It was an awful pass back there from Paul Moses. Terrible pass back. The first one that Keith Dixon had to field wasn't the best of passes, but that was absolutely appalling. Enforced error there on Keith Dixon, putting Keighley under pressure. And standoff Steve Ashcroft for Chorley. This is Lee Crooks at acting half, going on his own. Not the Lee Crooks, as we have pointed out previously, I believe, last season, but John Carney. Certainly seems to be one or two quite top amateurs being recruited by this Chorley side, no doubt brought to them by Jimmy Taylor, with his wealth of knowledge of the amateur game. Nice ball there, and good ball out, and a good break. In fact, almost able to offload there to his scrum half Jeff Robbins, but just not quite able to do so. Chorley now going in. McTeague it is, loses the ball, and that's Paul Moses, drops on it. In like a ferret there was Moses to get that ball, but exposed a gap in the centre of the defence there of Keighley by the number 8 Mark Edwards. Keighley running across and down the slope, taking them up the slope, if you see what we mean. Steve Hall now. Last tackle, hand in the air from Mr. Campbell, indicating as such that ball better for Keith Dixon. That's a better kick because it split the wing and the fullback. Mike Smith, the winger, going to take that ball. As the fullback in support, puts the ball to him, but Appleby prevents him going to start with, and now Wayne Race and Phil Ball have a go at him, but Appleby's back there again with Phil Ball, eventually bringing him to ground. He only got 5 yards further forward, but he proved a little bit weak in the exercise nonetheless. Mike Smith then plays the ball to hooker Walsh. On the halfway line, McTeague offloads to Walsh again, getting into Keighley half of the field. Whiteside just pedantically driving that ball in there, tackles some 8 or 9 metres inside the Keighley half, little chip over the top. Full-back Mumby there, he's on station, he knows what's on as far as this field's concerned. Is the experience of Mumby telling him not to stray too far upfield and join the line because of the kick through, but this is Wayne Race then for Keighley. Play just steadying down in the centre of the field. Joe Grimmer. Dixon out there to Vasilo. Vasilo, oh, he's caught. Just slight hesitation there from John Vasilo on the far side. Perhaps would have been better taking that winger on. Martin Wood having to sit out this fixture last season, just having been recruited from Scarborough. Just recruited from Scarborough for this fixture last season, but registration unable to get there in time to Chapeltown Road, so he had to sit this one out last year. And the kick forward from himself there, being knocked on by the full-back of Chorley, Richard Clayton, and this is Keighley out the far side. Hinchliffe gets the ball out to Vasilo. Basilo's line. Basilo's in. Basilo's in for a try there. 10 minutes on the watch as Keighley get the first try of the afternoon, Darrell.
Yes, a good try, well worked try. The ball held up in the scrum slightly there. He actually helped Keighley by being held in the scrum. Then they whipped it out blind. Keith Dixon making the extra man by going blind. And the way they cover defence, John was clear. A good one, good try.
So then 10 minutes gone, 6 points to 0 the score, as John Vasilo has the opportunity to improve his own try, but not exactly from the easiest of positions. It's about 3 metres in from the touchline side. He's putting the ball down on the 20-metre line. And normally we see this ball that'll put down on the 25-yard line. Now in that, the 20 metres is about 22.5 yards, I reckon. I'm wondering if in the minds of these goal kickers there's a psychological block here, because they always used to put it on the 25. Now they're putting it on this 20 metres, so it's nearer and so presenting themselves with a more acute angle to kick from.
Well, a lot of goal kickers you find, John, they've got a set pattern. And like you just said there, they'll come out to the line. For some unknown reason, they'll come out to that line no matter where they play. When they'll play at Keighley and it'll be 20 metres, they'll play here today, and it might be 22. These pitches vary, but they actually do work to lines, the kickers, for no apparent reason. And if you ask them, they won't be able to tell you why.
So then the conversion not successful. Clayton getting play underway. Ball well taken there by Steve Hall, and 20 valuable metres regained for Keighley as he hits that line before being tackled. Paul Moses going from acting half, but he's tackled by McTeague. Ball being worked up the hill. Appleby misses it, but it's Joe Grimmer who's on hand to sweep it up. He was struggling there up the hill and might have been better just taking his tackle, but this is Martin Wood for Keighley. 10 metres in from the touchline side. Ball back to Dixon. Dick's going to put this ball left boot. I thought that ball was going to go far side, but not so. It's a good kick there, putting Clayton back on his heels. He has to pick that ball up 5 metres from his line, and he feigned there to kick the ball downfield, and quite honestly I think he might have been better doing so, because all he did was allow the Keighley players the opportunity to get back in numbers. All he did by dummying to kick, I should say, that is, not by kicking. That's Briscoe then for Chorley, getting out of his own 20-metre area just. Referee just pointing to the players, standing on the spot where the action is, but telling the players where he wanted them to be, and that's a good touch-finding kick. Relieving a little bit of pressure for Chorley, taking it some 7 or 8 metres inside the Keighley half of the field. Ball then in and out to Keighley. Appleby does the sweeping round the back, gets the ball out round via Dixon to Mumby. Appleby looking for a gap through there, almost finding it, but not able to get, but still 5 metres inside the Chorley half. Steve Hall, he could be a real bundle full of problems for Chorley in the second half when he doesn't have to use half his energy charging up the hill. Ian Gately, nice ball out there, but equally well met on Hinchcliffe. Appleby not particularly expecting that ball, I'm sure. But still almost finding the gap there. It's only a short tackle there by Whiteside that holds him back. Ball going out there to the far side. Wood chips over the top. Chip and chase by Wood. Fumble initially. Well, Martin Wood did the kick in there, but in fact it's John Basilou, I believe, who's been given offside, is it, Dell?
Yeah, John Basilou in front of Martin. When Martin got to the ball, he hadn't overtaken John, so technically John was offside. Good decision.
So then Mike Maskery with the opportunity of taking a bit of pressure off this Chorley defence. Left boot kick. 30 metres from his own line and about 20 metres actual gain of ground down the field. That's Carney for Chorley. Running into the reception committee of Gately and Hiley as the ball comes across field again, but if anything, the Chorley forwards overrunning their own players when the ball comes across, just lying a little bit flat on the attack. Ball going back over the far side for Ashcroft. The ball being lost, and it's the big figure there as Steve Hall regathers. Joe Grimmer gets the ball out there to Martin Wood, but the ball being knocked on. Referee very quickly blows his whistle there. Could see there wasn't going to be any advantage to Chorley. Blew his whistle quickly to prevent players diving in, and got to applaud that sort of a decision. Ball won there by Chorley. It's number 3, John Ellis, getting into the Keighley half of the field. McTeague going forward. He gets another 7 or 8 metres further forward, some 15 metres into the Keighley half. Ball coming upfield there. Looks like Mark Edwards, but lost the ball. Keith Dixon coming up the field. Gives it to Wayne Race. Oh, well met there by standoff Steve Ashcroft. Stops Wayne Race in his tracks. It's Appleby now, on to Mumby. Mumby. I don't think Keith will relish running up this slope too much, but he'll do his share the same as everybody else. Hiley now out the far side there. Broke that first tackle by Hinchcliffe. Just gets into Chorley half, into the Chorley half as Hall acting half. Onto Hiley. Hiley onto Dixon. That's Phil Ball now. Out to Dixon, skipping outside. Ball hit out, knocked out of his hands. And Darren Appleby there stood over the ball, allowing the Chorley standoff Ashcroft to get the ball, but originally in an offside position, and as soon as Ashcroft picked the ball up, Darren Appleby tackled him, and of course is offside, giving Chorley the penalty that takes play onto the Keighley 20-metre line. And Joe Walsh is the man once he gets the ball to get play underway again for Chorley. First receiver there's Whiteside driving in. Well met there by Hiley and assisted by Paul Moses. Run round there with a scrum half. Mark Edwards eventually wrapped up under the posts. and some 14 or 15 metres from it. This is Ashcroft for Chorley. Chorley looks set up for something here. Ball going downfield, I suggest. Looks like Edwards may be the man who's going to get it. But no, he was the foil. It's McTeague going in, and the high tackle there called by the referee. It's Joe Grimmer he's called out, I believe. My view, just obstructed by one of the pillars in the stand, Daniel, but I think it was high.
Yes, it was definitely high, John. I couldn't make out just quite whose arm. It wasn't either Joe Grimmer or Ian Gately, but the referee was quite correct. Good decision. Keep them out. Keep them tackles out of this game.
So the ball gone on the field then. Goal kicker looks like Mike Smith, the number 5 for Chorley. Be looking to put them on the scoreboard. Some 19 minutes on the clock then, almost halfway through this first half. Mike Smith looking to get Chorley off the mark. 6 points to 0 the score at the moment. Right-footed kicker. Calm as a cucumber, puts the ball between the posts and gets Chorley back on, gets Chorley on the board. One or two problems here with the ball, that one having gone out into the cricket ground, we believe. Keith Dixon then kicks off a grubber kick into the Chorley 10-metre area. Appleby just stopping John Ellis there before he gets too far forward and gets into his stride. That's John Carney there now. Pulled down some 21 metres from his own line. Edwards, one of the men who helped carve the victory out at Nottingham for Chorley last week, doing some powerful running, the number 8 for Chorley. McTeague again. Offloads, almost causes an error there, and in fact pushes his own players back some 10 metres in trying to offload and get play moving quickly. This is the last tackle though. That ball kicked well downfield, good kick there, could go dead, in fact will go dead. Nonetheless, it still puts Keighley back on their own 20 metres, and that kick going downfield some 40-50 metres. I'm sorry, the territorial advantage to Chorley, some 50 metres, with Keighley left with the hard work of driving back up this hill again. Martin Wood. 30 metres from the Keighley line. Into the second quarter of this game then, as Greg Harley is tackled almost in the middle of the field. Referee just observing there, I believe a little knock on at the play of the ball by Greg Harley. Something that Keighley have got they've enough to contend with this vast slope on this ground without having to contend with that sort of handling her in their own half. But that's out now then to Clayton on the far side for Chorley. He's wrapped up 30 metres from the Keighley line. McTeague again goes forward. And again, a run round there, standoff scrum half, brings on that prop forward, number 8, offloads. Looked as though it was forward though, referee agrees. In fact, Carlton Farrell warming up on this touchline side, as is Tony Hodson for Chorley. One of their forwards looking a little bit worse for wear already, number 11 I believe it is, Carl Briscoe. Not looking happy at all. Full ball. Joe Grimmer attempts to barge off the first tackler there, but Only falls to the tackle there of Edwards and McTeague. Nice ball out there to Keighley, lovely ball out to Keighley, on to John Basilou. Basilou's chasing up, well, he's going to give that straight into the hands of the fullback Richard Clayton. Thought he might have taken him on there though, Darrell.
Yes, I thought as well, John. He should have taken him on. He had a man inside as well. Had he gone a bit further, might have been able to offload to Paul Moses, who were backing up.
And as it is, Keighley have conceded a rather silly penalty there, having put Chorley back under pressure 10 metres from their own line for kicking at the play of the ball before the ball was on the floor. And Keighley wanting to make a substitution. It's Steve Hall there bringing off. Carlton Farrell coming on. And Carl Briscoe, as we said, coming off, and it's Tony Hodgson coming on for Chorley. Well, it certainly doesn't look to be anything too wrong with Steve Hall coming off the field. He's just gone sat straight down on the bench. I didn't notice anything wrong, maybe just a tactical change for saving him for down a hill, Darrell.
Yes, I think so, John. It could quite easily be. I didn't see what's wrong with him at all. I've seen the Chorley number 11 certainly injured, but I couldn't see what's wrong with Steve Hall.
And there's 15 minutes of the second half left to go then. 15 minutes, beg your pardon, of the first half to go, just corrected there. And that substitution obviously just going to give Steve some time on the bench to gather himself for the second half, I believe. Using some sense on the bench of Keighley and resting the forwards, as per, I believe, Wigan seem to do these days. Greg Keighley then for Keighley, looking for the 20-metre line. Can't find it though, he's pulled down some 2 or 3 metres short. Moses on the acting half. Appleby now looked to get that ball out, decided to go inside on his own. 2 or 3 players tackling, and Moses does well to gather that. Martin Woods now, Phil Ball going back inside. But this field's very, very tight on width, and Keighley unable to get the width there that they needed to move that ball quickly. Joe Grimmer plays the ball. Moses still stacked up this side of Keighley. That's Wayne Race going in, and the defence of Chorley is well packed over here. Does well to get the ball out. Appleby on again, and Keighley knocks that ball on. I beg your pardon, Joe Grimmer it was, knocked the ball on. Regathered there by the Chorley players after a bit of toing and throwing, and nobody really wanting it, but eventually they do regain it. And playing back up this top side again. There's certainly plenty of the action taking place on this top side of the field. On the top of the hill, as you might say, with the action now going across and using the downhill slope to get the players moving. McTeague chips over the top. Basilou though does well, regathers, comes back inside. Now he takes him on, goes up the outside, hands him off, but goes into touch. Unfortunate there, but certainly better as far as John Basilou was concerned. Took on the full-back that time, Darrell.
Yes, he took him well there, John. I like to have seen him come inside himself, take the full-back on the outside, and then step back, come in with the full-back, knocking him back inside, not trying to go all the way when the touchline were looming as it was.
Still must be very difficult with the slope that's pushing you down towards that touchline all the side, but nonetheless certainly better as far as John was concerned. McTeague then for Chorley gets to the 20-metre line before being tackled. Chorley driving out of defence, good drive out there by the number 10 Whiteside. Ball going back for the boot downfield. Keith Mumby's still down there though. He's hardly moved. The ball hit foot and knee. Wayne Race then gets the ball. Runs across the face of play. But is he going to get away from them? He's certainly an elusive character, his Race. But unable to get anywhere other than a couple of yards outside his own. A couple of metres outside his own 20 area. John Basilou brings play back infield, in towards the centre. Moses acting half onto Appleby. Keighley this time looking for a way through, taken up and down by the Chorley defenders. Greg Keighley out to Appleby. Appleby almost gets through, just not able to though, as number 8 Edwards Grimmer onto Dixon. Dixon putting that ball. Good kick there by Dixon. That ball, that's a very good kick. Could go. No, it's certainly not going to. Just wondered if it was going to go dead touching goal, but didn't go down the field. And once again we saw the fullback Clayton threatening to kick that ball back downfield, just trying to stem the approach of the Keighley defenders. Ian Whiteside driving away from his own 20-metre area for Chorley. But dropped by McTeague, picked up by Wood, needs to settle it, set something up here. Martin Wood, Paul Moses acting half, onto Grimmer, he's driving for the post. Joe Grimmer still going, offloads to Moses, but Moses well covered there. Play to settle now. Martin Wood switches it down the far side. Dixon sidesteps, goes round, and wriggles out of the tackle, goes in some 10-15 metres from the far side of the uprights for a very good Keighley try. That one coming after 29 minutes, Dal.
Yes, a good try there, Keith. Saw that the gap, saw that they were moving up on this top side. There were gaps down bottom. We did well. They went down the bottom end, beat the man, and was had enough strength to get over the line. Good try.
And certainly I thought there that Chorley were expecting Keighley to work the ball back up this slope again, and the ball with the play was switched down to the left-hand side, caught them unaware. It was a one-to-one situation. There was no overlap as such, but Dixon saw that there was quite a wide gap between the two defenders, just dug his left boot into the ground and came back inside and went through. It still had to be scored though, because there was a man hung onto his ankles as he went over, but nonetheless that's 4 more points for Keighley, and that brings the score 10 points to 2, with John Vasilou yet again with the opportunity of putting the X's on the board. Well, it certainly looked good, but it's waved away from by the two touch judges, so the score remains at 10-2 in favour of Keighley. Some 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Short of a ball again as the referee just calls to the bench, or the ball boy or somebody, to get a ball on the field. And now we've got 2 on, because the young fellow at the far side's delivering it personally, no less. Full black Clayton then just puts that ball down on the centre spot as Mr. Campbell starts the clock again. And play gets underway with a deep, well, I thought it was going to be a deep kick, but it was almost a miscue and a knock on by Greg Harley, and he's certainly injured there as he went down for that ball. And a lot of the players going on round very quickly as the Keighley physio gets in there, but Greg certainly took a knock there as he dived for the ball. He's getting back up though. They've made a stronger stuff down under than going down for no reason, but still the Keighley physio, Daryl, looking a little bit concerned, but Greg's fine. He's all right. He's got up all right.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that, John. The referee won the ball. He stopped the game straight away when he realised it could have been serious. That's what we like to see. We don't want players injured in this game.
Ball spilled there by McTeague, I believe. No, it wasn't. It was a substitute. Tony Hodson spilled the ball and missed the next tackle as well for Chorley as Ian Gately comes on. And Keighley were just ready to warm up the substitute Mark Brooke-Cowden for Greg Harley, but thankfully looks as though he's putting his tracksuit back on again. As Keighley getting the ball out there. Carlton Paddle, feet flying off the ground there, his tackle, leaving a Chorley player prone on the ground behind him. Kick through there once again. Looking upfield to get the ball into the centre of the area, that man, but unable to. And the referee again has just stopped play. And it looks, in fact, as though Keighley are going to bring Greg Harley off. Down in front of us here, we've got Mark Brooke-Cowden with the touch judge and the Keighley man with the board in his hand. And Greg just again coming off to take a well-earned break and to recover. Coming off on the advice of the physio. Got the word back to the bench very, very quickly there. And Chorley also have Billy Price ready to come on, no doubt from the player who is being helped back to his feet, and certainly not sure which world is in, this earth of Fuller's. And in fact, being told to come off. And it's Billy Price goes on. And it's the other substitute, Tony Hodgson, who took that... well, I believe actually injured himself, Darrell, didn't he? Tackling Carlton Farrell.
Yes, he did. It was an excellent tackle, but I think he finished up underneath Carlton, which is a silly thing to do. Certainly when Carlton's running like he was doing. I hope he's all right anyway. Should be back on it second half. Gets his wind.
He's gradually making his way back up the hill to the bench, and it's Chorley then to restart, get play back again with that play the ball. Some 10 metres inside their own half of the field. Ball moving up this slope quickly then. And now going back as Billy Price decides to take it back towards the centre of the field. Tackled though by Brooke Cowden. Now Carlton Farrell again. Pressure being applied by Keighley on the players, but it's a good break there. And in fact, a lovely pass inside from John Ellis to Mark Maskery, taking place some 15 metres from that Keighley line. Ball moving across field now through the stand-off and scrum half, and it's across there. Should have gone earlier, but it wasn't allowed to. But the full-back now. Full-back's going to score there, Richard Clayton. Indecision, slight indecision there in the Keighley defence, Darrell. But nice pair of hands there between John Ellis and Mark Maskery, the two centres on this top touchline side.
Yes, that's where the try was made, John. It went down this top side. Excellent running, beautiful handling, really top class. I like to see that. And then when the ball went out, like you said, the call of Keighley in two minds what to do. Chorley should have slipped out a bit earlier, and they didn't do. I think that caught Keighley out, and then when it did go out, the fullback was virtually clear. A nice try for him.
Yeah, I certainly thought that number 8 Mark Edwards for Chorley ought to have released the ball a little quicker, and in fact had he done so, the possibilities were that Chorley may well not have scored, because his indecision of moving the ball out caused the equal indecision in the Keighley defence. So that's 4 points to Chorley, a very good try as far as they're concerned, and a splendid break down this top touchline side by John Ellis that created the opening for Maskery to carry the ball on, and quick hands across all the way across the field to that bottom side for full-back Clayton to get the 4. Little fella there run all the way on with the sand, seeing that the player was struggling to get the ball teed up. Gets all the way there, and then he's told he doesn't need it. Keep him fit though, no doubt. Mike Smith then with the opportunity. Looks to have come across to the left hand, and in fact the touch judges say so. 10 points to 6 then the score, with 4 minutes or thereabouts plus stoppage time to go in this first half. Keith Dixon gets play underway again. To those groping hands, but it's of John Ellis, but he does well. He had to grope for the ball to start with, but eventually gets it and gets some 23 metres or so forward before being tackled. Ashcroft being caught in possession there after Edwards had laid the ball off to him, and that's Whiteside for Chorley. Plays the ball. Left-footed kick downfield, another good kick. Using this touchline side at Chorley. That was Billy Price who put the ball down. Keith Mumby for Keighley, still back on that station. Does the sweeping up, but gets tackled in possession. And three tackles being made almost on the same spot there by Chorley. Keighley just struggling to get out of this particular patch of the ground. Gately, that one, that is there, still only 20 metres from the line. There's a player injured underneath there. In fact, can't see quite, but I'm told that the boots are caught. Probably need a bucket of water there, Darrell.
Yeah, I thought we did it all, John.
Oh, that's a lovely break there by Appleby. He's got Martin Wood with him. Well, it wasn't the best of passes. Martin Wood had to go back, but that's a good break nonetheless for Keighley. It's the last tackle though. Dixon gets the ball out to Grimmer. Grimmer across there to Mark Brook-Cowden, onto Inchcliffe, and it's Vassalou there into Appleby. It's touch and pass at the moment for Keighley, as Appleby's going to go down there with that ball in his possession. 6 tackles used up there, but a very, very good break initiated in the first instance by Appleby, taken on by Woods after taking what was not the best of passes from Darren Appleby, but still nonetheless it brought Chorley way back into their own half with all the work to do. Even though it's downhill, it's still a fair old way down to the other end of the field nonetheless. Perhaps might have done well to have offloaded that ball as he was tackled, the Chorley man, but he went down, and that's a nice ball inside to Maskery. On to McTeague. McTeague gets the ball out again. That's Ashcroft for Chorley. 30 metres from his own line. Not the best of passes there again, but that one going to go into touch. Wayne Race just allowing the ball to go into touch there. Substitute Billy Price putting that ball left-footed down the field and taking play again, almost back to that Keighley 20-metre line. Probably about a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes of injury time to add, or stoppage time as we get into that. We're now in the last minute of normal time of this first half. The ball goes in. Appleby waits round the back of the scrum, onto Dixon. Tackled in possession, Wisely just hanging on there. Mumby acting half, onto Woods. Woods just skipping, looking to get through, but he's tackled again in possession, but midfield for Keighley. Long ball out by Brook-Cowden, eventually releasing Vassalou via Hinchcliffe. He gets almost to the halfway line before being tackled. Referee just looking quickly across the line for offside as Appleby takes play back the same way again. Joe Grimmer looking to offload to Paul Moses. Ball knocked down there, but went back, says the referee, quite rightly so. Keighley regather. Ian Gately standing over the man with the ball. Wipes his slate clean though, does the referee. Ian Gately having touched that ball, but it's Edwards gets the ball out to his scrum half, across to McTeague. Forward pass there, and looked forward, but not so, says the referee. McTeague again rejoins the attacking movement. Certainly it was a good pass. If it wasn't forward, the referee said it wasn't. And Chorley now coming through. Billy Price onto the winger Smith via the hands of Edwards. Price once more to Ashcroft. Ashcroft tackled by Brook-Cowden. Chorley got the place stacked up this side, just a little bit bunching in the centre there though, and that's John Carney. He's tackled in possession. It's the last tackle according to Mr. Campbell. It will look for the drop goal. It's charged down and it's gone back to the full-back. Jeff Robinson, the man trying to drop the goal, hitting Ian Gately and going back into his hands. Edwards driving for the Keighley line. Into added time now for stoppages, but Keighley have got to keep these players out of this, out of their try area. It's nice quick hands over there, but very well wrapped up over the far side. Referee just having a look at his watch there, but that's not the one that counts. It's the timekeepers, and it's McTeague driving towards the post for Chorley. Almost 2 minutes of stoppage time played now as Price does the run round there. Nice ball out there to Ashcroft. Does well to take it. Last tackle once more, says the referee. Ashcroft plays that ball. He gets it onto the scrum half, but that ball going dead. Scrum half Jeff Robinson looking to chip the ball over the top. And I think, Darrell, it's got to be half-time any second now. And I think Keighley have done well to in fact, have points in advantage in this first half. And we'll be looking to a good blow in the second.
Yes, I think, John. I think if we'd have set off start of the game saying that Keighley were just going to be within 6 points of Chorley, we'd have been happy. They're actually 4 points in front, so exceptionally happy with that.
Joe Grimmer then just playing the ball to himself. Just to remind you of the scorers in the first half. 10th minute try there for John Vassalou, and a 30-minute try for Keith Dixon. And the penalty goal in the 3rd minute to Vasilo gives Keighley their 10 points. And the 6 points for Chorley coming from the try in the 35th minute by the fullback Richard Clayton. And the penalty goal on the 20th minute to Mike Scott. The half-time score then here at Grundy Hill. Chorley 6, Keighley 10.